Hello everyone, thank you for joining me today. I am getting the new layout started with the Kato V60 North American tram plate system. And so this is the basic trap plan on the 4 foot by 27-inch layout. It's a very simple track plan, but I'm really going to make up for it with the scenery details that are going to be involved with this. Much denser and more detailed scenery than I've done with my other layouts. Over here is where the area where I'm going to basically be doing downtown San Diego here, a very loosely represented downtown San Diego and a loosely represented Old Town San Diego in this area, kind of just trying to get the vibe, squeezing the two microcosms very close together, even though there is a few miles of distance between the two in real life. So basically give me a San Diego layout. And so I got into getting the tracks set up, the plates laid down. I plan on gluing the Unitram plates and the track to the board today after I do a little bit more board work. And man, I tell you, this V60 kit is a little more daunting than I expected when you get into it. Each plate, you can see the seam lines of the different plates and the track sections are, let's say, positionally held together by these little clips. There's 3 types of clips that come in the kit. There's white clips that you don't see because they are already being used and installed. Actually, here they are. They give you a ton of these white clips in case you plan on expanding the plate system in the future, but it's a paradox because the additional street and track plates they offer, they don't have North American markings. So if you want to make this into a larger Unitram plate system layout, you're going to have to find and buy the Japanese add-ons and stuff. And if you do that, the road markings and everything are going to contradict the North American stuff. Anyways, I didn't run into that situation on this because, as you can see, my space is limited on this 4-foot board. So I decided to stick with just the V60. So back to the clips. There's 3 types of clips. I forgot the other type of clip because they're already installed. But then you have these, also have these gray clips for the road plates. I'm not using the road plates on, there they are on this end, but I'm not using them on this end, so I could scoot the assembled V60 a little bit more this way to give myself more land area for the old town here. And the clips are really finicky and flimsy. They're held in with these little tabs. These tabs right here, there's the tabs, and they are not structural support. Basically, all they're designed to do, all they do is maintain alignment with the plates to kind of slide the whole thing around into the position you want on your layout. But they're definitely not structure holding. You can't pick up any section. You can't even, if I even try and lift the corner of the layout, the V60 here, these tabs are just going to start snapping off all over the place and stuff. So all those tabs are just to hold alignment while you're sliding around positioning the assembled unit. And there's a lot of them. There's probably, I would say, about a total between the 3 types of clip tabs, there's probably about 30, at least 30 installed underneath this plate system as you see it assembled right here. And so the next issue I have, I did a ton of research, watching other YouTube videos, everything I could find that was Kato Unitram system layouts out there. And the common thing I see is basically the the track plate, it's compatible with regular Unitrack, as far as you could plug Unitrack into these track sections if you had a situation you wanted to. So they are identical height to the roadbed of Kato Unitrack. And if you measure this, this is a real life scale about 3.25 feet. So this rim here is over 3 feet high. And what I've seen every other Unitram layout person do is they just kind of camouflage the rims of the plates with shrubberies or lichen or whatever. In my book, it's a little cheesy to do so, and that's not what I'm going to be doing on this one. So I'm going to I figured out, how am I going to do this, create like some sort of a gradual blend incline to the plates without just having a rim of shrubberies around the square. So I'm going to use the Woodland Scenics foam putty. Came to mind last night when I was going to bed. I'm like, ooh, I could use the foam putty to kind of blend that in to the layout board. So I'm going to take that foam putty, create a gradual incline along here. It doesn't shrink, it doesn't crack. I've used it a lot before in my other layouts. Doesn't shrink, doesn't crack. It's very sandable. It's ready to sand within like 6 hours after you use it. And so that will blend out these sharp edges of the plate system. And then I will paint that foam because the foam comes out very white. I will paint that foam with the same Valspar paint I use to paint the board. And I will be very careful not to get paint on these track plates. And now let's get into the little detail parts that come with the kits. Oh, before I do that, this is the platform depot. You see how these plates, I don't know if I can get on video, they're higher than the rest. You have to disassemble part of this track section from underneath to get these platform parts on there. And you can see how there's some play here. Right now they're not flush. There's something that was overlooked in my kit, and my kit was definitely brand new. All the bags that had the plates were factory sealed and everything. There's supposed to be these small, tiny screws underneath that track plate where you remove the screws, you remove these small sections that were on the track plate, and then you install these platform sections. But for some reason, none of my plates in my kit, my sealed kit, had those screws. These screws were completely omitted by Kato. It gives me a little bit of a GS4 quality control vibes. But anyways, I can get past that. I'm just going to use a very small amount of glue just to glue and secure these platform parts down. But yeah, the screws are shown in the manual. I even saw the screws in the official Kato V60 video, but the screws aren't in my kit. So I'm going to work around that. And then there are these clear glass elements. There's some elements that plug into that platform over there. And the rest of these bags contain things like, I believe this is the catenary pole bag, and tons of grip of road signs and street signs and trash cans and vehicle crash pole barriers and all sorts of things that I will selectively install as needed to remain kind of half-ass prototypical for what I'm trying to do here with my Fantasy San Diego. And all the other Unitram layouts I've seen, people, for some reason, they don't paint these. You know, it looks stark. Here's the holes you can see on these plates on the edge of the sidewalks where a lot of those items get inserted. and mounted. There's little slots and another little clip system to install the catenary poles down the middle of the track plates. But I'm going to paint all the elements that I install on this with whatever appropriate concrete or galvanized steel type colors to make that look a little more realistic. And okay, I believe this bag has some of the bases for the catenary poles, but a cool little thing they give you is a different, we're all used to the blue, the light blue Kato railer. They give you this cute little orangish yellow railer for your trams. And let's see, while I'm doing this, I'll get into a couple of the things that I've already acquired to get this layout going after I've finished with some basic substrate work and the ballast on the main track and all that sort of thing. Is I got my first high-rise building, which is a Kato office building. It's a lot heavier, actually larger than I thought it would be in real life. It's pretty beefy, and it just so happens to match up the bases dimensionally identical to these dark gray squares. I'm not going to be using all Kato buildings on this thing. I want to get something that kind of get a couple items that represent more the high-rise apartments and things like that in downtown San Diego. And so there's that. And then for the Old Town San Diego area, I got a couple so far. As far as the Victorian style buildings in Old Town, I got a couple laser cut kits. So I'm going to do a kind of like a scaled down version of the Cosmopolitan Hotel there, the famous historical hotel. Here's the parts for that. And then this Old West saloon kit is a doppelganger for the Whaley House. I'm just not going to put that little saloon sign on there. It's architecturally almost identical to the Whaley House historical structure there in Old Town San Diego. So I got those to get a basic start on the structures. I'm going to incorporate some Adobe Spanish Revival type buildings. I mean, I'm going to really go all out on this thing. Let me go into the bedroom train room here. Show you a couple things I got. Here's these very plasticky palm trees, but I wanted to get beyond. I've used the Woodland Scenics and a couple other palm trees on my other layouts. I wanted to get something a little more lush looking, a little different this time, cheaper. So I got these from the rainforest, if you know what I mean. Got all these palm trees for $10. I'm going to paint them to get rid of the plastic shine and give the fronds more realistic colors, the trunks more realistic colors. I'm also going to take a jute twine and give the jute twine beard treatment underneath each frond head there. And got myself a couple live oak trees, a couple more trees from a collection I found. I don't feel like making trees a whole lot for this layout. I just want to get some decent looking, ready to go trees. And then for the Old Town kind of center Fiesta Del Rey area, got a little fountain going on here. And I got some 3D printed cacti, which actually look really good. You've seen me use cactus on my other layouts. The Woodland Scenics cactus are totally thumbs down. They're just too cartoony looking. They're in my book kind of garbage. I've used the JTT cactuses. You don't get a lot for your money with those. You pay like on the average $13 to $15 for a JTT cactus set, and you only get a few pieces. I got this whole 3D printed tree of cigarros, which are better than I expected. The branching's pretty random, and they're perfect scale size. Got those for $10. So yeah, that's what's going on. There's the other bracket of the French cleat that the layout hangs on the wall with. It's extremely solid, can hold 100 pounds. I imagine when the layout's finished, it'll weigh around 30 pounds. And so back to the kitchen table assembly area here. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for your patience through this video. I hope you got something out of it. And keep up with me. I'm going to spend the next 4 days going full time on this thing. I took a few days off, have a little staycation to get things done on this layout. So everyone have a great upcoming weekend, and I will keep you posted.